I've always been fascinated by water in video games. With just a few small changes to the physics and textures of the game, your environment can morph from a familiar landscape into a 3D zone of mystery or a fight for survival. A few years ago, I swam around all the land masses in classic WoW, but I think now is the time to cover some of the other water features in this massive world. Today, we're traversing the major rivers of Azeroth to unearth their secrets and oddities and explore how they shape your leveling journey. From acting as borders between two very different zones to serving as the lifeblood of entire regions, let's see where the rivers of Azeroth take us. As always, thank you for the fun comments and support. Special thanks to the channel Any Austin for the title of this video, and with all that being said, let's get right into it. Our starting point for today is in the far west of Azshara, where the mighty South Fury River originates from the meltwater of Mount Hyjal. Near the source, an abandoned elven boat can be found, but below the water is where the true details lie. Dozens of highborn ruins can be found along the riverbed, wreckage from the Great Sundering 10,000 years ago. Not a lot of players notice this, or even travel down this river to begin with, but I think the ruins are a great touch and fit perfectly here on the border of Azshara and Ashenvale, two zones with strong ties to ancient civilizations. As the river flows south, the green and maple forests recede into the harsh landscapes of Durotar and the Barrens. This small waterfall is also a really cool landmark. It is where 4 different zones converge, one of the only examples of such a phenomenon in classic WoW. Continuing on, the western bridge into Orgrimmar passes overhead, and the river widens out, dividing 2 more zones and serving as one of the only freshwater sources for both of them. The South Fury passes by the Valley of Trials before emptying into the bay on the Merchant Coast. You might even find a weapon crate near the mouth of the river if you're lucky. Let us now turn to one of the longest rivers in the Eastern Kingdoms, the Nosferiti River. Though it doesn't have an official name in any source, this is the general consensus due to the naming of Lake Nosferiti that forms as a result of it. The river source can be found in the southern Red Ridge Mountains, with a series of pools and waterfalls carrying meltwater westward. From here, it quickly exits the zone, then flows west to divide Elwyn Forest from Duskwood. The river here is shallow and rocky, but also serves as a hub for trade and commerce as seen from the multiple docks that have been built upon it. The Nosferiti has 4 tributaries that flow into it along this segment, which come from Duskwood, Stonecairn Lake, Mirror Lake, and Thunder Falls, the latter of which divides Elwyn from Westfall and is a sizable river on its own. After converging near the hushed bank in Duskwood, the river turns south, now bordering Duskwood and Westfall. After passing under the iconic covered bridge and flowing by Mortwake's Tower, the river enters Stranglethorn Vale, meandering by troll ruins and tons of jungle trees. A short while later, it flows into Lake Nosferiti, which is being polluted by the Venture Company. From here, it continues to flow through the jungle until it empties into the blue waters of the Savage Coast. I think it's pretty cool how this one river system links together most of the human lands, and it's always neat to explore these connections that bridge across multiple zones. In the far north, we see a similar situation with the Thrandraural and Darrowmere rivers. From the mountains in northern Lordaeron, the Thrandraural flows south and divides the Sickly Plaguelands into east and west. There's not much to find underwater here, but near the bridge connecting the 2 zones, there is wreckage likely from the chaos of the Third War. Not far away, it empties into Darrowmere Lake, which hosts the island and fortress of Cair Darrow. Observant swimmers might notice a few bits of plague rot here beneath the docks, which could be indicative of the scourge taint that has infected the dark halls of Scolomonts below. In the south, the lake outflow becomes the Darrowmere River, which continues to flow through the western Plaguelands, the Alterac Mountains, and finally to the Hillsbrad foothills. Here, it empties into Barradin Bay near the town of Southshore. Northern Darkshore boasts another interesting locale, the Cliffspring River. From the mountains of Fellwood above, the runoff tumbles down in front of the Cliffspring Cave in a series of loud waterfalls. This is a cool example of the secret behind the waterfall trope, and it makes sense why a band of aquatic Naga would dwell here. From here, the river flows north, past a single Furbolg camp before emptying into the Veiled Sea below a damaged bridge. A short journey, but one that plays a crucial role in Darkshore as you quest in that region. On the other side of Mount Hyjal, the Falfarin River descends and runs through the heart of Ashenvale Forest. From the source, it first flows through the pool near the satyr camp of Xavion, where more highborn ruins can be found at the bottom. Here, the river splits in two. The eastern branch divides into two unnamed rivers that end in pools near Fellfire Hill and the Warsong Lumber Camp, but only the western branch is considered the Falfaran from here on out. Sloping downhill as it runs, there's not a lot else to experience apart from the deep purple hues of the forest. At the bottom of the map, the river ends at another set of ruins submerged in a small pool. Where does it go from there? We're not sure, but it's possible that it continues as groundwater into the area near Warsong Gulch or the Northern Barrens, maybe contributing to the vast underground oases within the Wailing Caverns. Back at the surface pool, there's also an orcish catapult that met an unfortunate end here, yet another sign of the elf versus orc conflict in the zone. With how central this river is within Ashenvale, you can easily use it as a modified path while questing to help avoid some of the beasts of the forest or the PvPers on the road. One of the most tragic rivers in classic WoW is found even farther south, in the heart of the Stone Talon Mountains. Here, water falls into Cragpool Lake, which then feeds into the Black Wolf River, once supporting a large valley of rugged pine trees. However, with the Venture Co. encroaching on the land, over half of the trees are now gone, and now the Black Wolf, brown and polluted, snakes through the barren remains. It meets a pitiful end near the Windshear Mine, not even emptying into a reservoir. In the RPG book lore, the Black Wolf is framed as a vital river system that helped carve out the entire zone, but what we ended up getting in-game is much different, and I think its minor role contributes to that dreary feeling you get while questing here. Ending our trio of strange, small rivers is the Verdantis, located in central Feralis. You've definitely passed through here at some point on your leveling journey, and there's a great view of the source waterfall from the Elven Bridge. The river flows northwest for just a short while before coming to an abrupt halt near Dire Maul. I do find it interesting because it would not have taken that much work to connect the river to the Forgotten Coast in the west, but perhaps this was overlooked during development. Despite its small size, it is the only place in the world where you can catch the rare Feralis ahi for fishing, giving this landmark an actual purpose if you happen to be a fisherman. The second example of our double river systems is the Blood Venom and Wild Bend combo. The water here is corrupted with demonic energy, and you probably shouldn't swim there if you can avoid that. The noxious Blood Venom Falls turn into a river that bisects the zone, flowing westward and over the edge of great cliffs. Here, a series of pools works to disperse some of the corruption, but the water that reaches Darkshore is still likely tainted. Here, it becomes the Wild Bend River, passing through the Twilight Vale and stopping at a small pool just short of the Veiled Sea. I mean, come on guys, I'm not asking for a Panama Canal, just some actual hydrology from time to time. Regardless of how this works, it is cool to explore another connected river system that geographically shows the corruption trickling down from above. Finishing off our list today, let's travel to the Night Elven starting zone of Teldrassil. The idyllic Wellspring Lake has a single outflow river, which travels north before splitting into three and falling over the edge of the zone. If you haven't been too observant throughout your leveling here, this could be one of the best opportunities to view Teldrassil as a giant tree, which I think we can all agree is one of the best in-game reveals for new players. It's a fun little area to explore as you wrap up your starting zone adventure, and as a final fun fact, I believe it's the only official river to be contained within a single starting zone. Thank you all so much for watching. Those are all the major named rivers within Classic WoW, but if you have another river or body of water you want me to investigate in the future, make sure you leave a comment down below. Until next time, may the Force be with you.